Hey everybody, and welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley412, looking at the 8-game slate for Thursday night on DraftKings. If you want to come join us in our Discord, you could always use the code POWERPLAY to get a free day of access. And once again, our soccer room is free in the month of December with new coach Charlie. The guy's phenomenal. Just yesterday in the UCL slate, he just cashed in his fourth ticket to the King of the Pitch, which is just amazing how anybody's able to get just one, and he's got four. So yeah, it's completely free. Come check it out. Love to have you. Head to our website and you can get all the information there. So Toronto, big favorite or biggest favorite on the board at minus 290. Seattle is the second largest favorite at minus 240. And Seattle, if you've been watching these videos all throughout the season, you kind of know they are not a DFS friendly team at all, but we will dive into that, especially once we get into the individual plays a little bit more. We also have, I think, our first 5.5 over under on the board so far this season. Washington, Philadelphia. Pretty rare to see a 5.5 at this point in time and how the NHL is played, but it is what it is. Projected goalkeepers. Here's the projected goalkeepers. Skinner, I did have him green because I just wanted to make a note about him. He's got an 891 save percentage so far on the season. However, in his past, 6 starts, or I don't know the exact number, but however long back it's gone, he's been phenomenal. His save percentage has been closer to like a 930 or 940 in that time. So he was just this number is just really weighed down by a disastrous start to the season, but he is looking a lot better at this point. Heading over to the line stacks, we're going to go with Toronto's top line. Nothing too shocking here, but Nylander, Matthews, they are the top forwards. Riley is a defender. The other winger on this top line is actually Gregor over here. You can see him at 3K. He doesn't get power play unit time with these guys, but still, anytime you're playing alongside Matthews and Nylander, you're going to have some interest in my eyes in terms of a DFS standpoint. So Nylander, 8.4K, it just continues to go up. He's got 3 multi-point games in a row. I think he's on a 5-game point streak. He's got points in every single game this season except for 3. It's been absurd what he has been able to do. But he's averaging almost 20 points per game on home ice. And they got the best matchup. They're the biggest favorite. Completely understand that price tag. Matthews is always around 9.6. But if you're looking a little bit more for salary relief, Riley, he can get you there on the top power play unit as the defender, as kind of like the quarterback on the blue line. Like I mentioned, the other winger is going to be Gregor here at 3,000. Another line I do want to talk about here is Edmonton's top line of Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Hyman. Nugent Hopkins, he provides the value here at 5.4K, and he's actually been getting on the score sheet a little bit more. He's got 1 goal, 6 assists in his past 5. Edmonton as a team in general, they've been on a crazy hot streak. I think they've won 8 in a row at this point in time. Tampa Bay, they're going to be going into Edmonton. They've had some dicey games so far this season. They're not as strong defensively as they were. Age, trades, salary cap issues, goaltending has all come into play to kind of result in a little bit less of a Tampa Bay team than we have seen in the past handful of years. But still, Edmonton's cruising, the offense is clicking, and these 3 guys are right there. Hyman giving you a nice shot floor. Going over to notable special teams before I dive into anything else, there's not a whole lot to like, honestly. Tampa Bay and Edmonton, they're facing off against one another, but they're some of the best power play units in the entire league, facing off against some average penalty kill units on the other side. But really, it's a small-ish slate. But we got some of the worst power play units going in the entire league on this slate. All the other matchups that have a good power play or an average power play, they're just facing off against a really good penalty kill or your average penalty kill. So nothing was truly standing out at this point in time. So looking at the individual players, we're going to head over to Vancouver here. Vancouver at home, even money line, 6.5 total. I can see this game being another kind of a shootout game. Both teams, I think, are very good offensively. But Miller, Pettersson, it's really a coin flip on who you really want to go with and who you want to pair them with. Pettersson, you could pair him with a guy like Mikheyev, who's at 4K here. They're both getting at the same even strength line. If you're going to go with JT Miller, maybe you'll pair him with a guy like Brock Besser. Besser has been phenomenal. Mikheyev, Obviously, much lower in salary, doesn't give you as much of an upside, but a lot of Mikia's production has actually come out on the road. So a little bit of a hesitation with him there. If I personally had a pick, I'd be going with Miller over Pedersen, and then pairing him with Brock Besser if you do want to go that route. Tavares, 6.6K for Toronto. If you do want to get off that top line, you could go with Tavares. He skates alongside Bertuzzi and Mitch Marner on his two wings here. But Tavares also gets that top power play time with Nylander and Riley and Matthews. So if you want to just do like a mini stack of like Tavares, Marner, and Riley, get all power play 1 correlation, get correlation at even strength, but still get off of the chalk of Matthews and Nylander with some savings, I could totally understand going that route. Connor Bedard, 6.5K. We saw him with just a filthy good goal last time out against Edmonton on the road. They're going to be on the road at Seattle here as they kind of continue on their West Coast trip. Bedard's just so good. It's just that the rest of his team is so bad. And Bedard actually has some really strange splits to start the year, in that the majority of his goals, it's like 80 or 90% of his goals have actually come on the road, believe it or not. So Bedard, he's right in that spot on the road at Seattle. Wouldn't shock me if he's able to get a goal. It's just tough to pair him with anybody else that you really like. Seattle. We're getting into Seattle territory on the individual plays, and like I said, they're a very big favorite, minus 240 at home, but they are just a disaster when it comes to correlation plays. So let's head over to dailyfaceoff.com. If you don't know Daily Faceoff yet, please check them out. They are fantastic. Not a sponsor, not an ad. They're just that good. So this is where they were lining up in practice. Last updated was yesterday on Wednesday. So you got Cardi, Beniers, and Eberle on that top line. Your issue is Cardi doesn't skate on the power play. Beniers is on the top unit for the power play, and Eberle is on the second unit on the power play. So no correlation at all on special teams. Going to the next line, McCann, Wenberg, and Tanev. Tanev, he doesn't get any power play time, just like Cardi. And then McCann and Wenberg, they're skating on that second unit together. So you at least get a little bit of something, but not a full line. Tolvanen, Gord, and Bjorkstrand. Tolvanen and Bjorkstrand are skating together on the top line with Matty Beniers, but Gord skates on the second line, or the second unit with Wenberg and McCann. So like it is a complete mashup, like just awful for DFS. So while I do like a lot of these individual plays, it's tough to stack them together, aside from, some GPP. But I do like Beniers. I do like Yanni Gord. Other Seattle guys that I did target here are going to be McCann, Bjorkstrand, and Tolvanen, if you do want to go that route. If I had a pick, Bjorkstrand is probably your safest, shot floor guy. He's been shooting the puck quite a bit. Tolvanen, you get the top power play unit. Beniers, I still think Beniers is so good as a hockey player. It's just not turning out into DFS production. But 4.2K is fine. But yeah, so Seattle, I like a lot of the individual plays, but just collectively as a group, as a correlation stacks, they're just really tough to jam together. And then we're going to round off center with Veleno at 3.3K for Detroit. Super cheap. We already talked about Dylan Larkin's out. JT Compher's out. And that meant that Veleno, he's a former first-round pick, so he's got skill. He actually skates top line now and top power play unit. So can he get on the score sheet? Absolutely. Detroit's actually looked pretty good offensively, even without Larkin and Compher. But they're going to have a tough test here going up against Carolina. Kaprizov, I like him just as a one-off, just with the floor that he can provide. Best already talked about him. I think I already talked about everybody on this wing, so don't have to go too much into that. One thing you do notice is that there's a lot of value on this slate, especially when you're factoring in those cheap wingers from Vancouver and then all the Seattle guys. So it's going to be, I don't want to say it's easy to jam in, two of these top guys like Nylander, Matthews, McDavid, or Hyman. Won't be too difficult to jam in at least two of them. I don't think you're going to get three. It's going to get real tight real quick. But yeah. And then over to defense, Bouchard. We've talked about him on, I think, on every single video over the past month. Pair him with any of these Edmonton guys that you really want to. Chychrun, if you are going to go with some Ottawa, and I think Ottawa makes a very intriguing GPP team on this slate. St. Louis, they just lost to Detroit on home ice on Tuesday night. After the game, they fired their coach at 1 in the morning. It was pretty wild. So St. Louis, they're going to have a new interim coach. Is it going to fix the skid that they're on? who knows? Remains to be seen. You never really know with a new coach. So I guess either side of that game could be a nice GPP play, because really, who knows what's going to happen with the new guy. Excuse me. Anderson, 5.4K. He's just a great floor play. Doesn't get too much like production on the score sheet, but still, he shoots pucks like crazy, block shots. I like that price tag for him as a floor. Falk, the exact same thing. Just a great floor play. Parayko, a great floor play. Done. Pairing him with Seattle guys, he wouldn't surprise me if he's a pretty popular defender, but I would definitely be sticking kind of in this route if you were going on defense here, if you're not going with Bouchard up at 6.9K. And then Faber for Minnesota. Like, this guy is a stud. He's going to be fantastic for years to come. He sees a crazy amount of ice time as well for a rookie. He's seeing like 25 minutes per night at this rate, and only 3.5K. I like that possibility. He's been getting on the score sheet with a couple of assists lately, shooting the puck, does all this stuff. So I really like the opportunity that he has there. So it's kind of where the slate breaks down. Toronto, love them. Edmonton, I really like them there. Seattle, while still a great moneyline fave, or a big moneyline favorite, they're just so tough as a DFS team to really get excited about and correlate. So good luck in your contest. Thanks for watching. As always, really do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, and we will see you tomorrow in the next one.